even if it might be a bit offensive, I think we
Yeah.
keep real. And if Parmit says something I don't agree with, I'm gonna be like, no. And most people will be like, yes, but But me and Parmit, I think we bonded so much because we keep real and honest.
What were you saying your name means?
So yes, my name is Roger in English, but how my mom calls me is Roger. That's the Catalan form. Catalonia is a state in Spain. So my name is not strictly Spanish. So even when I'm in Spain outside of my state, I can't say Roger. I have to say Roger or Roger. So here I have to say Roger. It's like a lot of Chinese students come to Australia,
Yeah,
and the first thing they do before they apply to uni is choose an English name, so that people
correct,
can
Yeah,
call them,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I've seen
correct.
that.
Yeah, all of them, bro.
Yeah, because
And
their names is so hard to pronounce, bro.
and
You can't.
sometimes it's so crazy. Like the name of someone can be Tin Shan, and then their English name is Evelyn. And you're like,
Yeah, and they don't even look like that. Yeah,
But for you, it's
it
easy.
is true.
yeah, kind of. But
Yeah,
yeah, because Roger is an English name as well. So
and
All
I
right.
think that's a good introduction to this
Yes.
podcast as well. We were just talking about your name. Welcome back to Wiser Together, everyone. I'm your host, Ramit Kumar, as in always. Anas Pasha, my co-host, and then we
Hey
have a
guys.
very good guest here today, one of my closest friends in Sydney, Roger Garcia Marfania. Marfania.
Marfania,
Marfania. I
Marfania.
always get your last name wrong.
It's fine. We
But we're
got
just
two out of three.
we're just talking about what his name means and how it changed. So in Catalan it means Roger,
In Catalan, it's Roger. I don't know exactly where the name comes from.
but you pronounce Roger.
Roger, yes.
Roger.
All
It
right.
sounds
So this is what we were talking about just before starting because I just told him that I love his name because I say Roger a lot. It is sort of like a military term here in English. I suppose it's like
Yeah,
it's
Roger
like
that.
Roger
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
we
like
say that a lot.
What does it
I
mean?
say that a lot.
It means
Roger
noted,
just mean
like command taken.
acknowledged, yeah, but
Acknowledge
acknowledged,
that.
but in a very like solid way that okay, Roger, that's it. Like it is affirmative, like done.
Yeah.
So your name and this is what I was saying when you give that example of that Tin Shan and that Evelyn, your name and how you look, your persona goes same because Pramit mentioned that you are sort of old school, like you like to do things. That they're supposed to do. You're quite independent, you're quite sportsy, you love taking on challenges, you love doing things which are hard. So yeah, this is what I was saying, that I do believe in how names and a person are somehow intertwined and they're synonymous. And I must say, for you, having to know you for what, 2 minutes and 45 seconds, that holds true.
It clicked for me as well, bro, because you
Yeah.
obviously know what my name means.
What does
Yes.
your name mean?
Permeet means wisdom,
Oh yeah, you
right?
told me.
And these guys, like 8, 9, 10 years ago in Pakistan, when we used to hang around,
Yeah.
whenever I used to say something wise or something, as a joke, they would call me Wisdom Kumar. That
Okay.
was my name, Wisdom Kumar.
Wisdom
And
Kumar.
I don't know, as I grew up and stuff, bro, the name of this podcast is kind of like driven from that angle as well.
Wiser
Wiser.
together.
I want to,
Wisdom, yeah.
there's a community I want to build, which this name just stuck to it. So the name of that community is going to be Wiser, but this kind of stuck to it, and it was kind of Wiser Together. So it makes sense now what you're saying, Anas, that the name kind of
It
And
is,
fits.
yeah, I mean,
think
true.
about that. Your name is the first thing you're gonna hear when someone calls you, right?
Hmm.
Since you're a kid. So I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but maybe that has some influence on how you grow up. Because it's the word you're gonna hear the most in your life, and you can't even choose it.
Yeah.
It's imposed since
But
you're
that's the
born.
only thing. You can't even choose the effect it has on you, because it could have an adverse effect as well. You
Yes.
can't name someone and just imagine that they're gonna turn out a certain way. If I name my kid David Goggins, he's not gonna
But maybe he starts training, no?
maybe, yeah.
And then
Maybe,
if he
yeah.
joins the competition and other people see, oh, David Goggins,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, oof, we better work hard. So you don't know.
So I want to first off ask, because of course you and Parmeet, as we can see, not only like visually that you guys are close, but I wanna understand like how you
Very
guys
close.
met. Yes, exactly. So how you guys met and
Mujhe looks
how,
odd.
yes, exactly, for you, how did it click? How did it click?
So you can start. You can start.
Uh,
You came to Sydney first, so
I don't know if you already know this, but Spain is my favorite country in the world
True,
that I
you
like.
mentioned.
And when I was in the UK, I used to go there 2 times, 3 times every year. And I've traveled a lot around Spain, and I just love the language, the culture, the people. I studied Spanish for 2 years as well, and then you obviously know Avi, my friend from Vancouver,
Yeah,
and
we.
so I've visited him twice as well. Like, so it's just I really like that country. And then we were playing futsal, and one of my other friends got him along, and it was his first second
Yeah,
week
it was
in
my
Sydney as well.
first or second week in Sydney. Yeah.
So when I met him, and yeah, he told me from Spain. We started talking. Like, it's just I was so surprised. I didn't know there's anyone coming to Sydney from Spain.
Yeah,
You know?
we're not a lot. There's some coming on exchange, but not to study.
Yeah.
And what's
Mm.
interesting is that you come to Sydney, you start meeting people. Hey, brother, where are you from? "Ah, I'm from here, there. And when I meet Parmi my first day, we start playing futsal, and then we talk a little bit. And he asked me, "Hey, Roger, where are you from?" "Hey, I'm from Spain." And he's like, "I love Spain. I've been there 7 times."
Uh,
Yeah,
So it's like that, and then it wasn't like this is my understanding of it, and we've never really talked about this, so I'm curious what you will say.
hmm,
But it wasn't like we met on the first day and we clicked and we hit it off. We spoke for 5 hours. No, we
sure.
met, we spoke a little bit, and then I maybe saw him a week later, then 2 weeks later, because it's uni, like you're everyone's together, everyone
Of
knows each
course.
other, and eventually, like me and Roger would have some fucking intense
I
conversations.
think so. Yeah, yeah.
We
Four
still
hours,
do.
four
We still
hours,
do.
4 hours.
But although
Wow.
we're like similar in a lot of ways, where we connected was that difference of opinion and that adversity, right?
Hmm.
We would legit like just talk about general things in life, and we talk about at great length and analyzing those situations from like every possible angle. And that's why I was telling you I can talk to this guy for hours and hours and hours.
You did,
and
yeah.
and we kind of there was a time when we acknowledged, bro, this is like so good because we can kind of counter each other again and again and again. Yeah, we have a lot of friends that like if you say something, they'll just say yeah, or they'll say no, like they'll kind of play along,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and me and Roger are not like that. We say what's on our mind, and
Yeah,
we don't play along.
even if it might be a bit offensive, I think we
Yeah.
keep real. And if Parmit says something I don't agree with, I'm gonna be like, no. And most people will be like, yes, but
Mm.
But me and Parmit, I think we bonded so much because we keep real and honest
Yeah,
to each
and
other.
we're blatant about it, and we understand each other that
Yeah.
we're blatant with.
I just want to add because even before recording, we were just introducing ourselves. I told Roger that he reminded me of my best friend from Mexico as well, Diego, and even the way that he speaks, and even this part as well. Because um, I would confess, I am sort of a yes man. I do not sometimes hold my ground. I would sometimes find ways to agree, but in a disagreeable fashion. But this is what Diego used to do with me as well. That even if I had something to say, he wouldn't just agree, he would just make sure to put his point out as well. So I just want to ask you, Roger, is that sort of like a, does that come with the language, that come with the region as well? Because Diego also speaks Spanish, right? He's from Mexico, but he speaks Spanish. Is that something about the people speaking that dialect, that language, or that culture, that you are able to hold your ground without of course you're not offensive, but without just putting your political correct answer out there?
I can't speak on behalf of all the Spanish speaking people, but I would say most of my environment is like this. If you want to say something, of course, we think it twice, but we don't think it 5 times. We say it like 100 times. And yeah, like some people are more moderate, some people are more soft, but I would say you can only be respected if you stand for what you think. And it depends on your mindset, right? If you're someone who just wants to be chill and make friends and just you don't want to have too much travel in your life, then probably you're more agreeable, right? But if you are ambitious and you stand for what you want, you're gonna face it. It's like a small conversation challenge in which people can think, oh, this guy, I don't know, he's contesting, but in the end, only if you make yourself be respected by other people, people can truly respect you. Otherwise, it's just pretending. No? So
Yeah,
Spanish people, I can't speak on behalf of them, but my environment is like this.
generally though.
Yeah, like I would say so. Maybe it's a cliche, but yes,
But
I
no, from my perspective, what I've seen is it's like that. But if you go like sort of north in Europe itself,
Yeah.
like when you go French or like I'm not trying to be
Germany
specific, and
or
my knowledge is very limited here. This is just what
But
I
you're
know.
right.
But if you go to like sort of Nordic as well, they're not gonna sit there and if they're having an argument, they don't care unless it's like someone very important. They wouldn't care to point their put their
Hmm.
point across or anything, and then they would okay they'll say like okay just to avoid
the
that sort of
conflict, the avoid the conflict,
confrontation,
yeah.
But Spanish or like South Americans as well. I don't
And Italians as well.
Italians as well.
Italians and Spanish are
Italians,
very similar, yeah.
I think Italians are more straightforward than Spanish. Italians,
Maybe.
but in a rude way, bro. Like
I don't think they are rude.
they're not
Oh yeah,
rude.
It's their
That's
way of being,
but
yeah.
you know.
yeah, if someone doesn't know, they come across as rude.
Exactly. They're just what I've from my experiences as well. I found them to be just straight to the point. But of course, there
Very
are
straightforward.
there are
Very.
like Roger said that there are just so many people and so many stories with them. But Roger, I can sense that there's a lot of passion with this when you were saying this. I want to understand like where does this passion come from? Where does this drive? What is your push?
In life in general, or just when I'm debating with people.
No, I sort of put that like in an umbrella term because how you were speaking, I was sort of
Yes.
putting it into a picture that you sort of take your life as a general like this, if I'm not wrong. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure about your life.
Yeah, so I guess it's because of my parents and how they taught me. We've always had like very intellectual conversations at home since a very young age when we were 6, 7, 8. So it was very difficult to beat them in dialogue, right? And they had more knowledge, more experience.
Tell them what they do so he has some
Oh,
background.
Oh
so
wow,
well, my parents are both genetists and they are scientists and they both did a PhD.
They
amazing.
work with genes. If somebody
Yeah,
doesn't know, I didn't know
Yeah.
myself. Okay, to not know. So
Okay.
yeah, they study genes.
yeah, they
Yeah.
studied that they come from nothing, they had to work very hard, and they are like in the academic world they belong to the elite, right? So as a kid growing up in that environment, when you are home you always argue with your parents, you talk about this and that, so it was very difficult to beat them in an argument. It was impossible, right? So then
That's why you argue so much now.
you start building your own this, and you like dismember all the plot so that you can come up with this idea or this idea. Still you lose, but after a long time you improve a lot. And when you don't have to face them, but you have to
Yeah.
face
Real
real
people,
people,
yeah.
other people,
Yeah.
it just becomes maybe not easier, but you don't have to push too
It
hard.
helps, yeah.
Yeah, it helps definitely.
Wow, no,
That would be
that explains a lot actually now. And no, so how are they now? Like, and you said that you also have siblings, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I have a younger sister.
Okay, and what about her? Like your relationship with her? Do you guys do you have this with her as well?
I would say our relationship could improve a lot, but it has also improved a lot since we were teens. And we will
That's
see,
amazing.
like, she's my sister. I'm gonna love her all my life.
Yeah.
It's my blood, no? And my parents are geneticists, so our genes, their genes.
It's funny, we just had this conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot has changed since yesterday.
No, it's just that
No, I'm just
I
messing,
wish,
bro.
I hope our relationship will become better.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's doing fine. She's doing fine.
For sure. No, that is just amazing. I when Parmeet also mentioned these qualities about you, these traits about you, and I'm just so happy that he was just so spot on. And that's such a sign of a true observer, a true friend. I really wanted to ask you this question. So, what do you think about men today? How men
Men.
are? Yes, men as a general, from
Like
every
where this
race,
is
from
going.
yeah, from every race, from every country. What do you think about the state of men today? Because keeping your values right here in front of us and how you've communicated your values and your way of life, how do you think about men today? Are they in line with your values? How you think and how you proceed with life? So I just want to understand the state of men from your point of view.
I think first of all we have to define man. Is man an 18-year-old adult male, or is man a category that you acquire? Because if it's just an 18-year-old adult male, then that's the description, right? But for me, man, it's beyond that. It's standing for what you truly believe in, working hard, always looking forward to improve. And I would say nowadays, men are not in a good situation in the sense that I think we complain a little bit too much. We don't work as hard as our grandparents did because there's no need. Life, in at least where I come from and in the West, life now it's way easier than before. So you don't need to
True.
be as tough, right? So I would say men today are softer than they used to be, but there's nothing that's not reversible, and it just I think there's a lack of motivation somehow because there's a lack of necessity to improve.
It's the environment as well,
It's
bro.
environment,
Like the
yes.
environment they grow up in, it's not the same that you're
Hmm.
growing up outside on the street and stuff. You're growing up in front of a computer and being ignored the whole day. So like,
But still, like, even in this environment, you can become a man. No, if you are the best, you put a lot of effort into it. I would define being a man as always looking forward to
you
improve.
can 100%, but I think it makes it harder if you're if okay, once you cross that age at 20, 21, whatever, once you get that awareness that you are able to question your mind and think and kind of set your own path and believe in things you want to believe and not go with the things that were taught when you were young, right? Then you can make those adjustments and stuff as well. But a lot of men, I feel like, because of how they've been raised and stuff, uh, it's not that I'm saying it's right and wrong. It's very different from how they used to be raised before. There's a lot of like mental health issues and that kind of stuff coming out when they hit their 20s, and then they get aware, and then they fall in that kind of like pitfall that they're depressed or they're not as, but it all these issues are very underlying in how they were brought up. Like it's very deep rooted, these issues, right? Maybe they were ignored when they were growing up. Their arguments weren't given a platform to say anything. They weren't heard enough. There's a lot of things, but
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But also, you have to be accountable of what you become, right? So
Yes,
maybe
that.
it's an excuse, but if you are 30, you don't.
Hmm.
Because also, like with internet, you have access to any information. Your
Yeah.
environment is not no longer that important because you can just fly away, browse,
Yeah.
connect with people online. It's not like before. Before, all the information you had available was okay, your friends, the TV, and maybe the library if you were this kind of guy. But now, no. Now you can talk to anyone you want. There's a lot of information. So I would, if you are 30 years old, uh, I don't think it's the fault of who raised you.
Yeah.
Somehow it is,
No.
but not completely.
No, but
Okay.
it's your fault at the end of the day because you managed to realize that and still do nothing about it.
Oh
Then,
yeah, yeah.
then it's your fault.
Yeah, yeah. I want to touch this point, Roger. For you, when was that time, like that first time when you clearly understood that you were accountable for yourself? Like, what was that moment for you, and like at what time, what part of your life did that hit you? That I have to be accountable. Like you just mentioned that if someone is 30, they don't have to look at the outside factors, external factors. It's probably something internal. For you, when was that?
I would say probably as a teenager and because of school. All my life in primary school, middle school, I had no problem. I didn't study much, and I always dealt with any situation, and I always passed. But at some point, I failed one exam that was an important exam, my baccalaureate, and I realized that it was my fault. It was not my parents' fault. It was not my teacher's fault. It's my fault. And if I don't fix this by myself, no one's gonna fix it for me. No one's gonna give me anything for free. And it's such a stupid example, but it's when you click.
Yeah.
You're a teen, you're growing
True,
up. I
true.
was 16. I was not even shaving my mustache, but I clicked. Um, and then, of course, there's more things, right? You're young, you start going to the gym. Oh, if I don't go to the gym, I won't have the body I want. And you're looking up at these guys that work hard as hell. But it's on you. It's on you. Like nothing's free. You have to fight for it. And I would say that's the click. When you realize that parents don't provide anymore, they provide, but not they won't provide everything that you want in life. You have to fight for it by yourself. And I would say like 16, 15, 16, more or
That
less.
is just spectacular because I mean, not a lot of people in this day and age, like we were talking about the state of men today, with all the conveniences and luxury that we have. That's such an early age for you to have that accountability, and honestly, that's such a head start that you've had in life. And I can see that, like throughout the years, it has layered upon you, on you, and you are at a level right now that is just. I would say that has a maturity level of about I don't know, man, like early 30s. So
But
kudos to you
also,
for that. Yeah, that's
also,
amazing. How I just want to like to just move this forward, and for our viewers and listeners, I just want to. How would you like if you were to put it out in a practical structure for someone who's, let's say, who's even there in their 30s, or who's even in their early teenagers, how would you like describe like a pattern or give it a structure as to how a person can start holding themselves accountable? Because not a lot of people will fail their exams, although I would say it was a spectacular example. It is as important as an example can be. But okay, a lot of people will just pass their exams. But even if something bad or unfortunate doesn't happen to them, how can they start being accountable? Like, what's the process like?
I would say first of all, ask this question: am I happy with every single aspect of my life? Uh, Finance, physical appearance, social relationship. Any. You ask yourself: am I happy? Am I happy about this? Yes, no. If you're not, you have to change. Like things don't change by
Automatic,
themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's your life, and you're accountable for what happens in your life. So I would say, ask yourself, what do you want to change? Then once you realize and noted down what you want to change, you go and try to find someone who's at a level that you're pursuing. Let's say if you want to go to the gym, so then you look at an athlete. You want to pursue a medical degree, you look at a scientist. Anything. And then you see, okay, what have they done that I haven't yet started or that I'm not doing correctly? And you put your own style but following their steps. Because in the end, you don't have to copy and paste.
Yeah,
You can introduce your own variations, your own style. You don't need you don't need to take cold showers every morning. But if that helps you, that's incredibly fine.
it helps me, bro.
It helped. Today, I just for the second time in my life, it also helped. What I'm trying to say is that you don't have to copy what others do because we're different, right? So
Yeah.
what works for you might not
Copy to
work
the
for me.
extent that
Yeah,
it's
it's like
original to you in a
yeah,
way,
exactly. It's like
like,
get inspiration from it.
yeah. I always say this one thing, like, never, ever, 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 ever copy, follow, look up to a person. Look up to their ideas, what they did, what they stand for,
And why?
not who they are. And why, of course, question that. Not who they are, because nobody is perfect. That's a given. And a person who's like the closest to perfect as well, everybody has their mentors. Maybe they have 99 good ideas and concepts and values and principles, but that one is fucked up, you know.
True.
So, but if you are associating yourself to that personality, that persona, that whatever he, she, whatever might be playing, you kind of identify with everything and anything he or she does, right? So that's the problem with kind of looking up to, or
Yeah, it's like
following a certain single personality. Rather, follow ideas, and that's what I do when you're doing copying about cold showers and stuff. Yeah, I copy what they're doing, cold showers and stuff like that. But I wouldn't just. It's like cherry picking. You know what I mean?
I do. Yes.
Cherry. Okay, this person has this good ideas, and not just with like big celebrities and mentors and stuff like that. With people as well, I do this, like random normal friends and whatnot. Focus on the good things, that good qualities they have, and learn from those qualities. Don't blatantly just follow a person or a friend. Or we're old enough now, so we're not as maybe influenced by these things. But like people who are in their teens or stuff, how you see someone like a cool friend. So I've been a part of this. I'm guilty as well. When I was really young, you see someone who's like really cool, and people look up to him in school as well. You want to do what he's doing without questioning what, even stupid shit as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would
So
also say that it's not only important to find people who you admire, but also to find people who you don't really like and you don't want to end up like them. I think the bad example can work better than the good example sometimes. For example, if you want to go on a diet, instead of looking at the guy who's ripped and jacked, you might go and check the guy who's 400 pounds. What kind of life does he have? Do you want to have that kind of life? No. And I would say that not wanting to have that kind of life can even have more motivation effect on you than looking at the guy who's like
yeah,
at the top 0.1%.
I guess it just depends how it works
Yes.
for different
But
people.
yeah, it depends on what characteristic are you trying to improve
Yeah,
or what you want to do. For example, when I was in school, my mom used this example. Do you really want to be like these guys that dropped out now when they are 15 and they are in the park smoking up and drinking every day? And that example motivated me way more than Einstein. Like the bad side of it,
so you're not drinking in the park anymore.
drinking in the park, bro. Well, maybe as a teenager a little bit, but
Is balancing out everything.
yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah,
no, I totally get what you're saying. What both of you said, even with what Parmi said, cherry picking out the best things, because those habits take time and those habits are tried and tested. So it's like a sort of a scientific process that has been done to get there. But also what you said about eliminating the bad habits first, like the bad examples first, because those are very easy to see. Like, like you mentioned regarding that, the 400-pound guy, right? Like, I mean, just to look at their diet, just to look at their things that they're doing, because of course the things that they're doing is not working out for them. So there must be something that is something that we shouldn't do. And then just starting from there, also because these guys, for example, like we might look at a ripped guy, also the things that they might be doing are so advanced, are
Yeah,
just
exactly.
so hard to do that you might just give up in the process. So it's very important, like, to just come in the middle, like, from the bad examples that you said, and then cherry picking. So I really love the chemistry that you guys have right now, because
Thanks.
because you see what you guys did there right now is giving your point of view, and
Yeah.
sort of for me to come in the middle and to pick this out, because that's just amazing. And actually, that is a key to success. Just staying in the middle, and like you said, doing what you do after understanding those things. So that was really an amazing 10 minutes of conversation. i'm gonna I'm gonna
Yeah, it
leave
was
it
a
to
good
you guys
Yeah.
now for
Thank you.
to
yeah.
move along the
Yeah.
conversation.
No, with him, like we when we talk and we have those long discussions, it's we never leave with where we started off, right?
Oh
If
Mm.
I
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah.
perspective on something, even like it's not about him agreeing with me or me agreeing with him. Like he'll start off here and I'll start off here, and it's not like me meeting him here, he meeting me here. We'll end up at a different perspective altogether, and that's what makes it so interesting. And we've acknowledged this a lot of times, so that's amazing. I mean, obviously, he's leaving us now. He's going back to, I don't know where are you going,
Barcelona,
bro?
Barcelona,
You
Barcelona.
decided you're going.
Barcelona.
I'm applying to jobs, but that's for the next podcast.
Next, from Barcelona, we tune in from
Yeah,
Barcelona.
we're tuning
You
from
have to meet.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Your friend from
Yeah,
Canary Islands.
he lives in
He
Barcelona.
can text me
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna hook you
Anytime,
guys up.
anytime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be nice. So
No, I wanna, yeah. So you mentioned that you're leaving in 3 weeks. So um, I just wanna put this and understand your perspective on this, because when I also left Istanbul after my exchange for 6 months, although it was brief, but it was a very brief and dense moment. It was quite heavy on me. It was
I
because
think
right
it changed
after.
you on so many levels, bro.
Of course, yes. So I just wanna ask you for this. How has this experience been for you? And yeah, first of all, let's start with that.
So first of all, a little bit of context. Before coming to Australia, I was working full time in and working part time in another job, both related to my field. Then I was also reading a master's in Spain, but I was trying to apply to Australia because that was kind of one of my dreams in life, and I knew that if I didn't do it then, I would never study in Australia. Because at some point in life, you don't quit everything to study. You might quit to start a business, but not to study. So I'm applying to Australia and the borders are not opening, right? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna lose my last opportunity in life. But then somehow borders opened. I quit my two jobs, quit my masters in Spain, came here with two suitcases and just decided to meet people and start practicing my English because when I came here, my English was not as good as now.
I
I
don't
He's
learned
agree.
learned
a
all
I
lot.
this
don't.
money. I
I,
always
I
told him.
don't. I don't agree with this, because the way that you're speaking right now, and the analogies that you've used, the language that you've spoken, does not in any way show that you learned this
Yeah,
right now. It is
that's what
phenomenal.
I'm saying. He's
Either
learned all
either
this.
that, either that, or you have a brain equipped for learning languages.
No, no. I knew how to speak. I knew English, but I didn't know how to speak fluently because I never got the chance to practice. That's it.
Yeah,
And anyway, I come here with my two suitcases. I didn't know anyone in Australia. I didn't do any research about Sydney. I just knew where was my uni accommodation, where was my uni, and when were my classes starting.
that's another thing about Roger. He would. It's like the kind of person like you thinking you're going to, and Anas is the polar opposite in this regard. If he's like going to Turkey, he will have like documents and documents and documents on Excel, research this,
But
this,
that's
this.
good. That's good as well.
And Roger is polar opposite. He won't do a single search. He wants everything to be a surprise. Like even with
Wow.
Bali and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things
I
as
mean, you
well.
plan a little bit when you're
Yeah.
traveling, but I like to have a lot of randomness.
Yeah. I feel
Because
like you both are on extremes because Anas is like
That's a nightmare for me.
everything has everything.
Anas, we have to go on a trip
Anas,
together.
Yes, we will.
no, that's
When
not.
you,
He's so like how to say it
I
like
just
he
want to
doc-
be prepared.
the amount of times he's going to the bathroom, how many minutes, how many
Oh, you
seconds.
you you track all your data, no?
No, that is a bit. That's a
I no
joke.
no.
Bro, he tracks everything.
No, because I just feel like I've had situations where I was surprised to an extent that I was like, this cannot happen again. Although surprises are fine, but I just feel like if you're prepared in life, and life likes that if you're prepared, so it
Preparedness,
just
yeah.
helps a lot. But at the same time, I would agree, like, I find that quite interesting as well, just to go out, venture, and then see what happens. So yeah,
I would
no.
say
I
that's
don't
how
think you can do it though.
I think everyone
I
can do
can't.
it.
Yeah, I would
It's
have a
just
lot of anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just a unique circumstance, coming to Australia, getting rid of all what I had there, just coming here, and it was part of the experience of going to study abroad.
Yeah.
Honestly,
For him, it was like he told me about
start
this,
from scratch,
and I'm just
start from zero,
reiterating this
basically.
because he didn't mention it. For him, it was like, I don't want to live and have any
Regrets. Yeah.
that obviously not coming here. But once you decided you're coming here, you didn't want to do research because he didn't want to have any presumptions about how it is.
Ah,
He was going to experience it firsthand anyway, so
first
that's what
hand.
he wanted
Yeah,
to do. Not from Google and learn something from there, and then maybe it's not true or
He's
it's
doing it
different.
the old way, no? Like if
exactly.
someone wanted
Yeah,
to study in Australia in the 80s, they would come here with their two suitcases.
Yeah,
They probably would have booked an accommodation for the first couple of months. So
yeah.
that's exactly, in a modern way, what I tried to do.
you see, I'm just gonna add to this. This is what happened to me. Although what Rami told you and how I function, I did that. And the my first night in Istanbul, I landed. It didn't work out. The Airbnb that I was supposed to go to, that person, God bless her, she canceled on me. And Turkey has a huge language barrier. Actually, nobody
Mm.
speaks English over there. So it was just me with two of my suitcases and a friend trying to find a room at 12 p.m. in Turkey, going to old men with Google translated in Turkish. And
Well,
yeah,
midnight PM or AM?
yeah, midnight PM. But
Midnight.
by the
That's
time,
AM.
yeah, by the time I reached where my uni was, it was already midnight over there with no one over there to speak English. So yeah, having prepared that much, having that much preparation, didn't work out in the end. And
But Roger, this is gold though. That's what I'm saying. It's just
No,
about
no,
yeah,
it
perspective.
depends. It
No, you
depends.
would
yeah, but
like
I
this,
would.
bro.
No, you
You're like,
guys,
yo, it's so crazy. This story happened, bro. You would come and
Yeah,
tell me.
no,
I
no, no.
would
This
like
is
it.
this
It's
is
just
what
about,
this is. Yeah, this is something I tell everyone as well because I was just so proud of myself as well because again that was one of my first countries and just being in the situation at midnight with all of my money in my suitcase and I have to spend the next 6 months here and I don't know where I'm going to stay. It was phenomenal, terrifying, very
Yeah.
very
it's scary.
shocking,
Yeah, it's
a
scary.
bit
It's scary.
scary, but like but amazing at the same time because okay, what's the worst that could happen? My possessions would be gone. That's it. Money would be gone, but that can also be there. But now having been through that, um, there are many things less that could phase me now, because that is definitely a nightmare for people like not having anything, like not having any idea to stay, and then having everything with you with your possession, and somebody could come take it all away from you, and still you manage to survive. So I agree. It's like you said, it's very entertaining. It's very nice, and it becomes like a sort of a thing that develops your character. So I'm with you on board for that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I would say it's challenging, but if you like problem solving, no, in any degree, any level,
Yes. Yes.
it's really interesting actually because you are there, and as you said, okay, I have this. What's the worst that can happen? How can I solve this? And you just push yourself outside of your limits and boundaries because you have to. You don't have any other chance. You can't call and say, "Oh no," you just have to walk, talk to people, and I think that's, I don't know. It's like
Absolutely. I wanna
Mhm.
just touch on this point that you said about problem solving. How do we get more people to think this way? I find it quite frustrating because a problem has occurred, a challenge has been given. How do we move forward from here?
Which is inevitable, yeah.
Yeah, because the problem is that when I'm in a personal situation, that is fine. It's very easy for me because I do understand a thing has happened. Now we must move on. In a group like situation, how do we deal with this? It's very hard because what the first thing then that requires is getting that person to realize first that okay, now we have a problem. Okay, how do we solve this? How do you do this with your group of friends?
I would say there's one very first step. If that problem stresses you a lot, now you have two problems.
Yeah.
You have to
That's
solve your
true.
problem and remove the stress so that you can think clearly, right?
Yeah.
So unless it's life or death, just sit down, calm, analyze, and then just try. It's try and error. Of course, like with background and with knowledge, but you have to try. You have to try. If you don't try and you just sit there and overanalyze all the time, you're not gonna move. You have to analyze, and then at some point, you have to assume a certain degree of risk. That's inevitable because you don't know the outcome. You can't predict the future, right? And if you're with a group, yeah, that very first step is not having to deal with two problems. So even if you have no clue on how to solve the problem, make people believe you know, or at least you have an idea or you have a starting point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's panic, chaos, and no one thinks. But if you tell people, "Oh, we could try this, we might," then they're gonna be motivated. They're gonna start thinking, oh yeah, true, but also we can try this. That's a good
Yeah,
dynamic, right?
yeah.
If you're like, no, this is the end of the world. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna call my mom and tell her that I love her. No, then you have 10 problems.
I think that's one quality that's so underrated. Like inevitably, everybody's gonna have problems, right? And it's not even the problem itself; it's how we perceive the problem, and it's about just like being resilient and being calm under pressure. A lot of people, they might be good, they maybe they know how to solve a problem, but they can't handle the pressure. So again, there's another problem, right? If they just had that calmness under pressure, they would just it just make it so much easier to look at that problem and deal with it, without all the cloud and overthinking and whatnot. uh, and it's just that, yeah, if you look at it from a calm mind and from a collective mind, and not make it that problem bigger than it already is, just deal with it for what it is. I think that's a very underrated skill that people could develop and work
No,
with.
that's amazing, guys. I just want to quickly touch on what Roger has been studying. Roger, why don't you tell us what your degree
Yeah.
entails, and how do you plan on taking this forward? And does this degree actually? There are three questions. I'm really sorry. And this does this degree has to do something with your parents' education?
So as a kid, I always liked maths a lot and biology, but I didn't want to study biology because my parents did. So I wanted to be a bit different. And then I went all in to maths. And because of some life circumstances, I ended up studying statistics, which is a branch of maths. So basically, you get some core knowledge of maths. You remove a bit the very abstract concepts and shit, and you get more to the practical knowledge. And what's like, it's not as theoretical, it's more practical. I'm very brave to say that it's more useful, but it is more useful. So then I started studying stats, and I finished my degree, got an internship, everything was going well. And I came to Australia pursuing data science. Because after finishing my degree of stats, I was already working as a data scientist. From statistics, you can switch to data
Yeah.
science. It's like a neighbor field, I would say. Statistics is the core value of data science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And now I'm a data scientist, and my plan is to start working again. I don't know in which company, which sector. I just want to start working, earn money, gain experience, make contacts. And at some point of my life, I want to start my own business. But I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do, if it's going to be related to my field or not. Ideally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. Even if my future business is not related to what I've studied, that's fine because throughout my studies in problem solving, I've improved a lot, a lot.
Okay, okay. You mentioned one thing, and this is what I really like about you. You're very bold about this. You mentioned money. You mentioned, a lot of people right here would say that, oh, I want to have experience, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you
Mm.
mentioned money specifically. I want to touch upon this.
Money.
Money. Yeah. Why do you? Why? First of all, two questions. Why did you say that specifically? Second of all, do you think for people who say that earning money is important to me, or like financial stability is important to me, when it comes to their passions, when it comes to their objectives, because a lot of people say that, oh, do not worry about money, money isn't that important, and you should do what makes you happy, and yada yada yada. So that is my question to you. Why did you mention money, and what do you think about this thinking that we have nowadays?
I would say that having financial stability is like having a good health. If you don't have financial stability, all the other aspects of your life are going to tremble down, and probably you won't succeed in any aspect of life. It's sad, but money is essential.
Mm.
Is the oxygen of humanity, and we all need money to some extent. You don't need to be Bill
There
Gates,
is
but we
no
all.
way you didn't know how to speak English. I don't believe this.
No, I knew how to, but it's just that I lack practice.
So it's like that. Like he learned,
I
but he
learned in
didn't
Spain,
practice in
yeah.
Spain.
So
Like I learned Spanish as well. I never practiced, so here I am. All I know is "Hola, cómo estás?"
¿Cómo
Maybe.
estás?
I learned in school. It's just that I never spoke it. I could read in English
Yeah.
perfectly. My reading skills are the same now as they used to be before coming. Just my speaking, it's become more fluent. Obviously.
But
Anyway,
we're
about the money, I mentioned money because if I work for someone else, I need to get something in return. Right? And honestly, knowledge is not enough. I've already gone to uni and I've paid for it.
yeah.
So if I'm working for someone else and I'm making them profit. That's the key. Then I want a share of that, even if it's small, because that's what happens in companies,
Yeah,
right?
that's yeah.
But I need to know that what I'm making you earn, at least some part of it is returning to me.
Hmm.
And I'm not money centered right now in my life. I'm more knowledge network centered. But if you want to start a business, it's important to rely on your own funds to some extent and not having to ask for loans, because then you're very limited
Yeah.
in the whole
Kind of
decision.
like a slave.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. If you fund your own company, you can make any decision you want, and you pay the price. You pay the price of it. But if
Yeah.
you ask for a loan, maybe some the bank or whoever is giving you the money is gonna restrict you on what you can do, because in the end, when you want money to fund your company, you're selling your rights on it. Some of them, or your decision power, decision, yeah, the power of your decision. So I want to make enough money so that in the future I can start something by myself, completely.
Well,
Very
that
nice.
is just powerful, yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah, it's part of
Very
life.
good. And if you have any other questions?
No, I think this was a very solid round of
But yeah, no,
discussion.
definitely.
Yeah, I
Just
no, it
one
was
of many that we could record.
Yeah, I think we should, every time we meet,
I mean,
we have a beer or we just sit and talk.
yeah,
We should have like our phone next to us recording, just in
yeah,
case some
yeah.
crazy idea comes.
A lot of it,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just the
yeah,
thought you.
because you see, we're three young men on our way towards life, and I feel like all three of us are quite aware of what needs to be done, what our priorities are. We're three strong men, and this is why Pramit and I started this, not only for men and women as well, and whoever this helps, because
We're
partly
not
it's
focused on the genders,
yeah,
guys.
yeah, partly it's
Might come across in the
yeah.
wrong way.
Yeah, because right now we're three men. When we have a girl or a
Yeah.
lady with us,
We had
that's
here last
yeah,
episode.
we had here last week as well. So that is that.
That's
But yeah, that is the entire purpose of this, because we don't man, we also like to have fun, but we're at this stage of our life where responsibility and obligations are upon us. And in this day and age, like we discussed, things are just so easy. Times are just so easy. Food is here in a snap. We don't have to hunt or gather. We don't have to do anything. And luxury is right here. I mean, with even like a little amount of money, a person can survive. But obviously the quality of life is just so degenerative, it's just so low. Our purpose again is to, yeah, from these conversations, through these ideas, is to help people have like a higher standard of living, is to have higher ambitions, is to have that drive that gets everyone up in the morning, and to push themselves, because this is what life is about. This is what gives us that high, that dopamine,
yeah.
to make ourselves proud, our family proud, our friends proud, and just to see where in life we can go, because this is the only life we get, and time is just a precious commodity, and how you spend it is just so important. And this is I am just so happy to it's a Sunday for you, it's a Sunday afternoon, but you're here with us, you've given us your time, and to learn from
Yeah.
you throughout these 47 minutes and 4 seconds, to be precise, has been just so tremendous. I would not trade that for a nice movie, for a nice my favorite food. I would rather have this. So I think I got all the wisdom nuggets I was supposed to, and this has been truly tremendous. It has been an honor.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, bro. Yeah, I
thanks for
really
inviting me
appreciate
as
it.
well. It's a pleasure always.
We're definitely going to do this again. Thank you so much. Before we close, I just want to give you a quick advice on the one thing that you mentioned before. Uh, you seem like the kind of person who's naturally. I'm not like this. I have to work really hard to center myself and align myself with my soul and my consciousness. You seem naturally centered, but you mentioned that yeah, you want to work and make some money and start your own business. You don't know how you're gonna get there, what you're gonna do, but you want to do that. And this is an advice that can be applied to a lot of other people as well. Oftentimes we just start thinking about, what is my purpose in life, what am I going to do, what's going to life look like, what about after 5 years, after 10 years, what am I going to do? And then we just get so involved in thinking about that we just drive off from our path. I always say, like, you obviously don't know how life's going to pan out. You won't even know if you're going to live tomorrow, right? What you know is, and everybody does, you know your next step, right? So if you just focus on that next step and just take that next step, that's how I deal with my life as well. If you just focus on that next step and take that next step, right, every step that you take is going to be right, and eventually, if every step that you're taking is right, it's going to lead you to something that is
Yeah,
meant to
it
be
makes sense, of
and
course.
right. Because subconsciously, like, you know in your mind where you want to be, what you want to do, but it's not clear on paper. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
if you just know what the next step makes sense and it's going to bring you closer to there. So yeah, just guys, don't worry too much about 5 years, 10 years, 3 years from now. Just, you know what your next step is. Just focus on the next step and stay true to yourself, and hopefully,
Roger that,
it's
bro.
a
Roger
matter of
that.
Roger that.
until you
Roger
until you
that.
get there. Right. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. We're gonna cut it here. I hope this was as valuable for you as it was for us, and if so, please like and subscribe and engage with us through comments. I say it all the time. I want to talk to you guys. I want to know who likes listening to this, who is interested in these kind of conversations, and I'm curious about what kind of I'm a huge believer of community, and that's what we're trying to create here. So we would love for your engagement and you to be a part of this as well. So yeah, we'll
Any last words, Roger, before we
yeah,
go?
Uh, yeah, I think following Parmit's words, yes, it's very important to know where to step next. Remember where you come from, because all the footprints are there,
yes, yeah,
and also enjoy every step. Because if there's no joy, there's no reward. Actually, the end goal is the end goal. That's the motivation that makes you go, but you have to enjoy the ride.
yeah. You
Otherwise,
have to enjoy the
if
process.
you don't enjoy the process, you won't enjoy the reward.
Yeah,
And yes,
process is more enjoyable than the reward.
yeah, sometimes it depends on the context, but in a lot of times in
It
life,
should be,
it
not
should be.
is.
Yeah,
It should be.
yeah,
I
it
love
should be.
this
Yes.
chemistry.
Yeah, it should be. But yeah, we'll cut it here, guys. Thank you so much again for joining, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao. How do you say bye in Indonesian?
Adios.
Adios.
Adeus.
Adios.
Adeus.
Adios.
You can tell how bad my Spanish is, bro. All right. See you